This is yours truly, Mr. Panuka, in the outskirts of the capital of Zambia, Lusaka. So today we are going to talk cucumbers, and our main focus, I think, for today will be cucumber diseases, and also just emphasizing the fact that when you have an onslaught of diseases in your crops, that's not the end of the world. That's a learning point, and you can actually pick up. So let's dive in to first look at the English cucumber diseases that you actually need to be aware of, just in case you've got any intentions of getting into the cucurbit farming family. So the first fungal attack that you actually need to be aware of in English cucumber production is this one called powdery mildew. Very menacing, I think, for all the cucurbit family of crops. So that's the whitish substance that you actually see there. So this you actually need to be wary of, but there are actually some very good products that you can use to manage this. But yeah, that's the first one that you actually need to be aware of. It actually can be quite menacing, and this is another leaf that's actually been attacked. So yeah, you can actually check out some of the potential remedies to this. So the second disease that we've actually come to learn is quite menacing for English cucumber is a disease called down mildew, and this is how it actually manifests itself in English cucumber. And it actually can be quite menacing, especially for varieties that are quite weak in terms of their defense mechanisms for diseases. It actually can be quite menacing. So this is how it has actually manifested itself in one of our greenhouses. And on the sides, I think the manifestation of powdery mildew and also down mildew were not that rampant, but here you can actually see a combination of powdery mildew and down mildew on the same plant. But generally, I think on the sides, the effect was not as intense as the midst of the greenhouses. So from a resilience perspective, which is an attribute that we actually expect of any one that actually comes into farming, much as the two diseases we just talked about has the potential to wipe out your entire production, you must actually know that that's not the end of the world, provided I think you invest a bit in terms of knowledge of how you manage some of these diseases, because one thing we'll actually say is that regardless of how experienced you are, at some point you're actually bound to get hit by some of these diseases. But I think the difference would be in your reaction to some of these diseases. Do you invest time and knowledge in investigating what the remedies would actually be for some of these diseases, and also just the general resilience of keeping going, whether you've actually been hit by a mishap at the farm. So let's get to look at our response to this quite menacing situation here in this greenhouse, and see how the other greenhouses for English cucumber are looking like. So from that greenhouse that is an ICU, the one we just showed you, came this beautiful crop here. We transplanted this, and I think the name of the game in farming along the way is that you need to actually be reducing the incidences of those diseases. This crop is not 100% free from, say, down mildew and powdery mildew, but generally you actually see that we've actually kept those diseases to barest minimum. So let's just plow through so that you actually see exactly how this crop looks like, to also see the reduced incidences of the two menacing fungal diseases. So unlike the other greenhouse, where it was actually quite evident the patches of down mildew, with this one you actually see isolated cases of powdery mildew and down mildew. You literally have to actually search to see that. So this is the kind of response that you need to do on a farm after you've actually been hit. Invest in knowledge so that you don't keep regurgitating and repeating mistakes. So this is how this crop looks like here. at the bottom, we always remove the lower leaves to promote aeration. Okay, so that's a bit of an aerial view, and up there is the net where these English cucumber crops go up there and create a canopy once they actually grow much taller than this. So this crop is actually so tall that even if I was actually to stretch, I'll actually not be able to reach the furthest end of each of these crops. Very, very tall. Yeah, but usually when they actually start, they look like they're weaklings, but they actually end up being the tallest crops on the farm. Let's take a walk and see how the other younger greenhouses are responding to the Panuka touch in terms of just responding to diseases. Not the easiest, but I think we're trying very hard to make sure that along the way the disease incidences actually keep reducing over time, but not the easiest. I mean, we've been in this for some time, but I think it's very difficult and quite misleading to actually claim we are experts in this. Farming by its nature is that it's a continuous learning process, yeah, that's exactly what we're actually trying to do here at Panuka Farm. This is one of the younger greenhouses. You can actually see it looks very immaculate, powdery mildew free, and also down mildew free. Again, just showing a testimony that you can actually rise from a situation that we actually showed you earlier, where you have an onslaught of powdery mildew and down mildew. I think all you need is to actually invest some time to look at the remedies and also just the general operational protocols in terms of biosecurity and the like. You can actually get such a beautiful crop after that situation that we showed you earlier. So we are actually beginning to harvest from this greenhouse this week. We already have some pretty much decent fruits coming up underneath there. Sometimes it's actually quite deceiving because of the leafy nature sometimes of these varieties. It actually hides the fruits, so you need to be a bit more experienced to know that the fruits are actually under there. Yeah, so that's how this crops looks like. Again, some small fruits coming up. Now, one thing is that you need to be a lot more experienced to understand that this whitish stuff is actually not powdery mildew. But some of the applications that the foliar applications that we apply to this crop that actually bring this whitish stuff. So yeah, you need to be careful so that you don't misdiagnose in terms of the disease patterns. So we are now in another greenhouse. This is a crop that we transplanted on the 3rd of May 2021, about 1,300 plants, and look at how lovely it already looks. Again, you actually see that you will literally struggle to identify powdery mildew and down mildew in this crop. Again, the same process of continuous learning and perfecting the art. So this is how beautiful this crop looks like. Good variety. Again, thumbs up to Rags One for these varieties. Yeah, we can't claim that they're actually 100% foolproof in terms of disease incidences, but I think their defense mechanism is actually quite good. So yeah, I think those that attended our training on value chain, diagnosis, we did mention the issue of, making sure that your inputs are impeccable and not always overusing the calculator as the only decision-making tool, for buy or not buy decisions. So that's the area view of this crop. Still quite a very young crop because it will actually reach, there at the net. Still has some life in it. I'm sure there you can actually see a ladder. We literally have to use ladders in the greenhouses given the height that these crops get to. So yeah, we have to have these ladders across the greenhouses to make sure that our staff are safe and are actually able to do a good job in terms of trellising, pruning, and the like. So underneath, that's how this crop looks like. Clean, weed free. And if you remember, this wire is where we anchor the trellising twine. We don't, directly, you know, um, round up the twine on the crops themselves. So we use this wire to free the crop from being constricted by the twine. So there you have it. This was a review of Panuka English cucumber with a focus on two aspects. One, disease incidences in English cucumber, but also just giving a word to you about resilience, given that sometimes when you've got crop failure from disease or even sometimes mismanagement, a lot of upcoming farmers actually do give up. But one thing we actually need to indicate is that you can actually rise, and you can actually see, I think we started this video from a very gloomy perspective, serious disease, onslaught. If you're not strong, you can actually give up, but here we are. Just a few months later, we actually did an introspection of what probably may have gone wrong, though I think some of the agronomists did tell us that between January and about May, given the humidity levels, incidences of powdery mildew and also down mildew are actually quite rife. But yeah, here we are, picked up this crop looking all beautiful. So let's take a 360 review of this crop. There we go, looking beautiful. Yeah, okay. So this has been yours truly, Mr. Panuka. I hope you are energized today with this video. Don't give up whatever you're doing. Even if you actually encounter a hurdle, keep trying, learn the lessons, and perfect that. Have a lovely one.